We're super excited today. You've seen him, Harry the legend, the man who's amazing kiting, winging, you name it. He's here with us today to talk about kiting versus winging. Here we are in beautiful Jupiter, Florida. We are going to cover kiting versus winging. And we're lucky to have the legend, Harry Andrews, who you've seen in these videos, winging and kiting. Let's get to it. Our beautiful family out here, you know, we've been talking about this on the beach about why would you kite or versus why would you wing? This has been a big question that we've seen come up. And you recently took over winging and went full tilt, and you're an amazing kiter. And it's very interesting because, you know, we talk pros and cons, and I'd love to just hear, like, what's your thoughts on it?
Gosh, well, thanks for the amazing kiting part, but I gotta say, I first saw the winging going on in my backyard. I was watching in the intercoastal waterways some people winging back and forth during a hurricane wind, and I looked at it and I said, why would you want to do this? I have no idea. I mean, it's like windsurfing, but you don't even have a boom or a harness to hang into, and you're on a foil board, which makes it harder. And I've been foiling now for 4 years when I saw this, and I thought, there's no way I'd even want to do this. But then I saw what you do in the waves. And then since you and I both do, we do the tow and foil surfing.
Yep.
When the waves get big here in Jupiter.
Yep.
And we tow them behind a jet ski and we'll ride for half a mile, maybe a mile sometimes, riding the wave, just the foil board. It's the exact same thing, except you don't have a jet ski pulling you and you have this wing pulling you in, and you just feather the wing out and you're riding the surf everywhere you go, and it's true foil surfing. And I think that's it. That's the key. So
Harry nailed an amazing point, and that is, you know, for him, it drew him into that ability to ride waves. And the wing is a vessel. Now, what you've steered right into that's super perfect for the consumer out there is safety and like accessibility. So like kiting, for instance, you got to rig your lines, you got to have a good distance. Versus if those waves are pumping and you're right on an inlet, you could just take your wing out and you're into the waves. So I think accessibility, kiting versus winging, I'd say 100% winging would be very much easier to accessibility to get to places and to be able to go try it. Conditions could be raining, gnarly, crazy, versus kiting. You got to be a little bit more skilled to be able to pull that off. Would you agree?
I agree 100%. That's right. The drawback sometimes is I get on my kite and I just go shooting out through 6-8 foot surf, jumping over waves, back rolling, board off, and just flying out there, jumping 30 feet in the air. And it's easy to get out. On a wingboard, it's that surf that's tough sometimes.
So that's a great point. So if it's pumping swell, you may want to rig your kite.
Well, you do. You do want to rig, but no, you don't, because you start the winging part. You're thinking to yourself, where can I get out of the surf zone to get through, to get out there where the best waves are that even the kiteboarder can't ride.
So you may be picking different locations.
That's right. You're starting now. You're thinking about all those spots you've always kited in your whole life, and you're thinking, wait a minute, I know this jetty that's protected on a north wind or a northeast wind.
Get out to the waves.
And I just simply walk out, stand on my board, and I go down 100 yards, and now I'm in 8 foot waves, and I'm out there all day playing fun, and there's no surf break to get through.
Awesome, love it. So now the next question is lessons, right? So like kiting lessons versus wing lessons. I would honestly say that if I gave somebody a kite setup, you kind of got to have a lesson.
Oh, you have to have a lesson. Yes.
So winging, do you have to have a lesson?
You don't have to have a lesson, because if you buy the safety gear, you know,
Which
get
is
a vest,
what? Impact vest, body bag, helmet,
your Apple Watch for 911, you know. No, you don't even need any of that. But I mean, seriously, you don't have to have that. But I mean, if you fall off your board, the board's attached to you, it's not going to get away. You have a big wing, and like the fantastic Carina X2, it actually has two different inflation points. So if you were to have a hole in one of them, you still have a hole inflation. And also, if you broke your leash, you still have a big flotation board to hang on to.
Yeah.
So it's not like a twin tip board where it'll sink.
Yeah.
It really you don't have much to save you there. And I use a lot of foil kites, but if you have a foil kite, that'll sink also. So yeah.
Good point.
Absolutely. I think the winging it's so simple. It's so easy. It's a little hard to start at first because you got to make sure you can foil. The foiling it's kind of a tough part of it, but once you get that, it's opens up a whole new deal.
I love it. So the next one that I think would be important to point out would be light winds. Right? Because everybody's like, winging, you can't go in light winds. Well, what I'm seeing from people like Harry is the light wind actually is starting to excel sort of on the wings. Not saying you can't kite in light winds. For sure you can kite in light winds. I would just answer now the question, 100% you can wing in light winds, which now opens up more doors that we thought were not possible. Because I think when you first started, we were waiting for 20-mile-an-hour winds or whatever. And now you can actually, I mean, today you just went out and you were on a 5 meter in probably lows of 12 to 18 maybe?
Yeah, I think that's right. And you're so right. I mean, when we first started kiting, we all had to have 19s or 20-foot.
Kiting went through the same thing.
Kites where we had to have these huge wings, and we thought on light wind days that would help us, and we'd have 160 centimeter boards because you want to get up and be able to plane out.
Yeah.
Well, now and then went to foil kiting. So foil kiting now we're down at 10 to 12 mile an hour kiteboarding.
Yeah.
Well, the same thing. We're now on a foil and we're with that wing, and once you break that water surface, you don't need hardly any wind at all. So I think if you're foil surfing, if you're foil kiting, you can foil wing.
In the same conditions.
Just about the same conditions. I think
I would agree
it's so
with that.
close.
Yeah,
so close.
I would agree. I would say, if you're a better kiter, it's obviously going to be easier in the lighter winds because you're more skilled and you haven't learned that winging. But I think once you learn the winging and you're pretty skilled, you'll be able to ride in pretty light winds.
But I'll bring another point though, and that is, if you're in light winds foil kiting, when your kite goes down,
you're done.
You're swimming. You're trying to rig up all your gear and pull. And I've done it many times. It's just
and with winging, you're always swimming.
You're always swimming. That's right. And if it went to zero wind, well, you already get on the board and you paddle on in. It's no big deal. So winging, it's kind of a simple thing. It's only two things to deal with, and that's the wing and the board. That's it. There's no lines to worry about. It's so simple.
I love it. So now let's go. I want to say this because I think this is important for all my kiting friends out there. And of course, Harry would say the same, I believe, but I'm just going to say my 10 cents. So people ask me like, when would you choose to kite over when would you choose to wing? If it is super nuclear windy and the waves are firing or like there's nothing in my opinion that beats a magical windy kite day where you can just boost to the moon. And now, I can boost on a wing, but it's not the same loft. I don't think you can beat a magical kite session. But those minimal kite sessions that are just okay, winging just opens up a whole nother world of so much fun. That's my opinion. What's your thought on that?
Well, I get asked this question now because I've been on the wing all the time.
You're a legend now.
No. I love the wing. But they'll say now, don't you kite no more? I mean, you got all these kites sitting in your van. Right? You're not kiting? No, I kite. When you kite, well, there's times when the waves are just, it's magical, like you said, and you just got, it's like you want to boost and go 40 feet and just, it's living the dream. You're boosting, you're flying, it's so much fun. But one of the most important things is there's days when we have seaweed.
Yeah, very good point.
And you can't wing. You can't even foil surf. You can't do nothing, but you can kite.
That's a very good point. That's a very good point. Yeah.
There's days I don't ever want to sit on the beach. I want to be out in the water with my buddies, having a great time, and definitely seaweed. I'm on the twin tip.
It's a really good point. Yeah, because foils catch the seaweed, so that's another great point. When we talk about gear, kiting versus winging, I'd say kiting has a little bit of a benefit at the moment because you just could throw a twin tip in, and you got a bar and a pump and a kite, and it all fits kind of in a little golf bag. Now with winging, you may have a bigger board that aren't quite that small yet. But what I would say is, as all you kiters know, you probably have a twin tip, a surfboard, a foil board, and you can't take it all at once, so that's kind of a little bit of an issue. But I would say gear-wise with winging, you just have a board and a foil that maybe could be your same foil that you kite with, and a board and a wing. And then kiting, you have your kite, your pump, your lines. But the winds may be questionable, so how many kites are you going to have? I mean, that's kind of the... So gear-wise, you know, which one's better gear-wise?
Gear-wise. Oh, boy, this is a tough one now.
I think they're pretty similar because when you get into winging, you're going to have multiple wings. When you get into kiting, you're going to have multiple kites. I would just say price-wise, let's talk about price. Price, well, kiting's been around a while, so you're going to have some closeout gear or cheaper gear. So you actually will see the price range anywhere from, I would say, $1,500 to $2,500. I would say winging's going to get cost for the full setup is going to be more $2,000 to $3,000 range. So it's a little bit higher. And the reason why is I think a lot of the product's brand new. Nothing's on closeout. You know, it's new. So you're paying for new gear versus kiting. You know, you can buy last year's stuff or the year before's and it still may be very good. So I'd say price ranges are actually within the same vicinity. I would just say what's super unique about kiting and winging is that you could actually morph your foils to work for surfing or kiting even, and now you got kind of some setups that are multi-changing for kiting or winging.
Yeah, I think winging, I have one board, wing board. I have one surf wing, which is also my wing that I use for just winging only. So if big waves, little waves, I'm still on the same wing. Kiting, I'll have my directional board. I'll have at least two twin tips.
Yep.
And I have a multitude of kites.
Yep.
Winging, I'll have maybe two wings.
Yep.
Because I only need 4 and a 6 maybe. And
yep.
I can get by with everything else.
Yeah.
So I think kiting sometimes requires a little more gear maybe than just the winging gear.
Yeah.
But there's times where I'm winging and I want a faster foil. But right now I only use the one and I'm okay with that.
So that's a good point you hit too, and that is, you know, a standard kite, you know, you're looking at $2,000 or more retail price. A wing retail price is half that. So just, you know, kind of take into consider how many kites you're going to buy or how many wings you're going to buy, and then you can add all that up. So that's something to think about. You know, like Harry said, and I agree for all our people out there, is 100% like go big, large wing size for your wing boards or foiling, and you're going to see that actually can be used in the higher winds, and you can wing foil that foil in a lot of conditions. When you're first learning, that's super important. As you get better, you can pretty much ride anything, but I would say in your very beginning of learning how to wing surf or wing foil, I would say a larger wing is just very user friendly, and I can't emphasize that more.
Oh yeah, I think so too. And also I think you're a little guy in shape, perfect shape. I'm an older guy, not in great physical shape, not in very good shape. So I do require a bigger wing. I mean, very simple. I have to have a 2,200 centimeter wing, high aspect, that really gets me up going, because I don't want to struggle trying to pump in that wing to get up going and then trying to go through the surf. I want to get up right away. And so I want the higher aspect. I'd rather go a little slower on the top end, but be stable. At my age, I need the stability.
Yeah.
Where I know, I watch you on your small wing, and you're really carving and cutting and doing stuff that I know that it's not really.
That he does. He's just trying to be.
No, I can't.
It's okay. We got it.
But the smaller you are, the weight is different, I think, on wings. I think that's another thing to consider about it sometimes.
No, it's great information. Everybody comes up to, I'm sure you, Harry, and says, oh man, winging looks super hard. Everybody's always tired. What would you say to them?
I will say this. It's when you foil kite, I can go out 8 hours and it's like there's really not much physical activity. You're doing this 5 pounds, repetitive movement back and forth. When you're winging, you do have the option of wearing a harness and a line. I don't do that, only for the simple fact, I like the workout.
Yeah.
I love the workout, and I love the feeling of being tired at night. And the winging will give it to you, because it is a full body workout. Because it's like it's that thing rubbing your stomach and doing your head thing, you know, at the same time. It's like you're two different things. You're holding a wing, and you're also trying to focus your feet on there, and it truly is a workout. But it's such a great feeling workout that when you first start out, you're going, oh my gosh, and you hit the bed late at night, and you just don't wake up till the next morning, and it's like you're just you get a great night's sleep, and you're so tired, and you wake up and you're ready to go, and you're thinking, I want to go out. I want to go out and work out again. It is such a fantastic workout.
And you know, he nailed that really well. And what I would say is, even at my, you know, maybe I'm a little more, you know, I try to go harder at things or quicker. And you know, what I would say, in my opinion, your first learning curve of winging, you get pretty tired pretty quick because a lot's going on. You're doing everything wrong. You're definitely, your first 20, 30 minutes in the water, you're like dead tired. I don't care who you are, you're gonna be tired. Whether you're fit or non-fit, you're gonna be tired. I think as you start to learn it, you know, Harry now can spend an hour easily in the water riding around.
Yeah.
It's still a workout,
yeah.
But your first beginning of it, I would say you're definitely working a lot harder.
You really are. The beginning, the first part, it is.
You're dead. I don't care
totally
what
dead.
your ability is, you're gonna be dead.
You'll lean over and water's pouring out of your head because you're just swallowed so much water. But now, even now when we go out winging and we go out for a couple hours at a time and there's no harness, and your arms are out there, and you learn that one arm is stretched out and one is bringing in most attention, and you really know which size wing to use. It makes a huge difference. You're not battling the wing all the time because you're overpowered or you're underpowered. You get the feeling of what you need to have. You know, when you see the wind meter, it's like putting up what size kite, I think. You know?
Yeah, and that's just the knowledge of learning it as you come. But I would say, like Harry said, 2 wings, you could probably kind of cover it all. For Harry, 6 and 4 here in Florida is really good. You know, a lot of times I just ride a 5 because I can kind of squeak it up and get it going. But how easy is it to learn kiting versus winging? Ooh. I would say, you know, I got to go way back to when I started kiting. Here's what I would say. Nowadays, I think kiting's a lot safer, a lot easier to learn than when I'm sure we learned it way back a long time ago. But I would say, I think winging would be easier because you could do it by yourself. You don't necessarily need an instructor. Do I think you're gonna pick it up really fast? I think it'll take some time. I think kiting can be a little more challenging because you got the lines and stuff. That's a tough one.
I think, it's not tough for me.
What is it?
It's so funny because I think when you kite, you're on that one plane with a twin tip.
Yep.
You're not going up and down, sideways, and doing your balance. On a wing, the foil is so difficult. That's what I think. I think, the wing part, I think, is fairly simple. You're holding up and, you know, you got to keep pressure on the back to keep the wind tip out of the water. But the foil is what's so difficult.
Well, so you nailed something perfect because our consumers out there, truth is, you can grab a wing, jump on an SUP or jump on a big board without a foil. And you could do this all day long and try it and learn it and play with it. That would be a lot easier.
Oh, for sure, yes.
But what Harry's saying, which is a very good point, is look, foiling is hard, and that is what you kind of jump right onto with the wing. So I think that's a great point. I would say, what's the easiest way that you think somebody should learn how to foil?
My son just came back from California and he said, Dad, I want to do this foiling. Everybody does this pumping foiling thing, and it's like something I want to try. And I said, okay. And we went out behind the jet ski and we pulled on the foil. And I think that's probably one of the best ways to learn is get behind a jet ski and you get the feeling, or if you have a friend with an e-foil. And learn a foil behind a jet ski or an e-foil. And that's definitely number one. That's the easiest way to go start. And then once you get the feeling and let go of that rope and free gliding, then you're ready to put the wing back in your hand, I think. I think that's what I think.
I think it's spot on. I think it's, so I guess to answer your question, which one's easier? I don't know. I think if you're learning to foil, it's harder. So maybe kiting's a little bit easier if it's on the twin tip, but you can also take the foil off and then it becomes very similar. I would just say it's whatever challenge you're ready to take.
Yeah, I think so too. I agree 100%. I think the winging is so simple. It's only 2 pieces. And so you can take it, the day that it's blowing 45 miles an hour here, I go in the causeway with my wing. Because I can go out there and the waves just choppy in the causeway or in the intercoastal, and I'm out there playing with the wing. When I'm kiting, you got to be careful.
Let me backtrack that for the viewers. He's called the legend because when it's 45, he will be kiting. like 60 feet up in the air with his board off. I'm just telling you, but
No.
he's downgrading it. I understand. He'll wing it intercoastal.
Yeah, it's the truth though. When it's windy, you can't make many mistakes.
No, true. I would say when it's super nuclear, winging for sure is very simple for people to go out and try to play with it.
And safe.
Yeah. Kiting, you got to be on your game.
Yes.
For sure, a lot can go wrong.
You
and
can,
I agree with you
and
there.
then it gets really, it can get you get yourself in trouble fast.
Now, here's a good point that we didn't hit on that I think is something we should bring up, and I don't know if we know the answer to this, but longevity of gear, because a wing and a kite, a wing is in the water a lot, right? It's always wet.
Always.
You're always falling. You're always getting wet. So the longevity of a wing versus a kite, I'm going to go with, I'm not sure, but I kind of think a kite's going to last a little bit longer than a wing.
I think so too. Because I've fallen in my wing. I've put holes in my wing. I've only been winging those 6 months. So yeah, I think wings are. That's why they're half the price, because you can buy two of them for one kite.
That's it.
But yeah, I think kiting. There's always room for kiting. Will always be our lives, because kiting. There's a place for kiting, always. Winging is just that next fantastic sensation of riding and getting the true surf feeling, I think.
Yeah. So I want to ask this question, because I think this is awesome for our consumers, but I want to ask Harry, is there something that you would say to the kite surfers out there that are like on the fence to try to wing?
Oh.
What would you say to them?
I was right there too. I was right here on the beach watching the guys out there in wings, and I'm saying, I don't get this at all yet. There's no room for this sport. I had no reason why anybody's ever going to do it here. And then I saw Damien LeRoy out here riding a wave, flagging out the wing, and he's on the foil, and then it clicked right there. That's the same thing as toe-in surfing. That's the same exact thing. And you do all these steps, learning how to wing to get out there in the waves, to toe in yourself, and then ride back out, and you'll wing all day long until you're so tired. You didn't think you could be tired of having so much fun. It's just one of those days. It reminds me, the very first time you try to get on a wingboard, reminded me so many times of the first time I tried to get on kiteboarding. I couldn't even get the twin tip on my feet.
Yep.
Well, I climbed on top of the wingboard. I couldn't even get on my knees hardly and stand there without rolling over. I felt terrible. I thought, oh my gosh, I won't ever be able to do this, But no, I understand it all now. But at first, though, I looked at it and I said, there's no reason I'd ever want to go out and do it. But when you see somebody like this guy right here, the rock star, catch the waves.
It wasn't me, but whatever.
Catch the waves and ride the waves. You'll understand it. It clicks that fast. You'll see it.
But what's cool is now Harry's doing this, and he's completely fallen in love with it, like you will for sure. And I'll just say one other one, because I think it's important, is I just had a father come up to me the other day who is a kiter, and he's like, his son's never been interested in kiting, but he's so interested in foiling. You get that kid a wing, and now you're riding with your son, and he's out there winging because he just changed his vessel from riding wave surfing on a foil to, oh, it's windy, Dad. Let's go out, ride the waves together. It opens up so many doors. A lot of surfers are going to get into this because they just want to surf and they just want to foil. And now, like Harry said, you have a vessel, inflatable, to get to that wave, flag it out, and ride these endless rides, which is just what it's all about. And I think until you experience it, like Harry and myself have, I just think, like, don't wait. You're going to absolutely love it.
Yes.
Would you agree?
100%.
Yeah.
I'm with you there. Yes. That's it, because it's just hard to imagine. When I first saw it, I sat on the beach and I talked to my friends, and we're all standing there watching them out there, and I'm saying, there's no reason to ever do this sport. There's no reason. Really, tell me how'd you even get out when it's windy? Because you can't even get out. I don't understand. There's no way. What are you going to do when you get out there? But then when the waves picked up, I understand you got to do all this training for when the waves are out. Yes.
And if there was one message, Harry, because we're super grateful to have Harry here. He is a legend and a dear friend of mine, but truthfully, an inspiration to everybody. He's here on the beaches helping everybody. He really is a great person, and we're just very lucky to have him here. But I want to leave on this note. If there's one message that you could give to any viewer out there about life, anything, what's a message that you would tell somebody?
Oh, don't sit on the beach.
There it is, right there. From the
Don't
man
sit on the
himself.
beach.
Don't sit there. Get up and do something. Live. Because if you sit down, you may be sitting there for a long time.
Yeah, life passes you by.
That's it, right? So
You got to
live,
keep motion.
do stuff. Don't just stand there. Try it. That's why we're making these videos for you guys. Because look, we have people like this who give us inspiration, who share information to help you guys go live your best life, especially in 2021, but for the rest of your life. So, so we just want to thank you guys so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you taking the time. We really appreciate the legend, Harry Andrews, coming to share his knowledge with you. Look, like and subscribe. Please click the bells, do all the stuff. We appreciate you. We got more wing videos, more kite videos coming, more e-foil videos coming. If you want to see Harry doing something else, racing motocross, flying paragliders, we'll make you that video. So you just let us know. We'll make it happen because we're here to make information for you. So please like and subscribe. Thank you so much. It helps us grow and helps us make more videos for you guys. So thank you so much, Harry. Thank you so much.
Hey, thanks, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Okay.